Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are looking at something today that I think a lot of people in the digital space have been feeling in their gut,
Yeah.
but maybe haven't quite had the words to articulate yet. I mean, we've all spent the last, 2 decades basically playing the game of links.
Oh, yeah. The blue link era.
Right. You optimize your metadata, you chase down backlinks, you pray to the algorithm gods that you land on that first page of Google.
It's been the standard operating procedure for, an entire generation of businesses.
But the report we're looking at today, it's called Beyond Ranking, the shift from SEO to AI recommendation, and it's pretty much an obituary for that whole mindset.
It really is.
It's arguing that the ground has basically shifted from under us while we were all busy counting keywords. And the core premise is up. It's terrifying simple. You could be #1 on a Google search page
The top spot.
and be completely invisible to an AI like ChatGPT or Claude.
It creates this kind of bifurcated reality. You've got one foot in the old world where you're a king and one foot in the new world where you're a ghost. And the report makes a really compelling case that this isn't just another algorithm update.
Right. This isn't penguin or panda or...
Whatever cute animal name Google is throwing at us this week. No.
Yeah.
This is a fundamental change in the whole architecture of how we find information.
It's the difference between ranking and selection. That was the phrase in the text that it really stuck with me.
That's it.
Ranking is not the same as selection.
It's the thesis statement of the whole document. And to
right.
really get that, we have to look at the foundation that the report lays out. They talk about traditional SEO, but they frame it in a way I think is really smart. They call it technology designed for browsing.
Which makes perfect sense. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't need to rehash what SEO is for everyone listening, keywords, technical performance, all that. But the intent of SEO was always to give you a menu.
Exactly. A menu. Think about how you behave in that model. You type in, best CRM for small business. You get 10 blue links. And the search engine is basically a librarian handing you a stack of books and saying, I think the answer's in here somewhere. Good luck. The user has to do the heavy lifting.
We do the cognitive work.
Well,
We're the ones filtering the signal from the noise.
you click, you read, you hit the back button, you try the next one, you are the synthesizer.
Right.
But now you look at the shift to AI. When you ask that same question to an LLM, you're not asking for a stack of books. You're asking for the answer.
You want the synthesis done for you.
And that changes everything. The mechanism shifts from ranking, which is just, sorting a list to selection, which is the AI deciding which single answer is the truth.
And that is a very high stakes game.
Yeah.
Because if the AI is giving you what the report calls a trusted summary, there's no page 2. There isn't even a result number 4 usually.
It is a winner-take-all environment, and this is where that trust factor comes in. The report highlights this massive psychological shift.
So?
Users trust an AI's answer differently. If Google shows me a link, I know it's just a link. It's a suggestion.
An option.
Exactly. But if ChatGPT gives me an answer, I subconsciously see it as a verified recommendation.
So if you are the recommendation, you basically don't exist. Now, the report gets into the why of this, which I found fascinating. It gets away from the usual marketing fluff and into the technical reality of these models.
Right. It's all about interpretive clarity.
And this is where we have to talk about how these models actually think, if we can even use that word.
It's a good enough word for it. They're probabilistic engines. They are just predicting the next word based on the statistical likelihood of what is true and coherent.
So when an AI looks at your business, it's not judging you on your domain authority or how many years you've been around. It's judging you based on its own confidence in what you are.
Precisely. The report uses the term ambiguity as the enemy. And this is a technical problem, not just a branding one. If your website is full of jargon, we empower synergistic outcomes for enterprise leverage. That creates what you could call probabilistic noise.
In the vector space. Let's unpack that for a second, because the report alludes to it. This is basically the map of concepts the AI has in its head, right?
Think of it as a huge multi-dimensional map. Every concept is a point on it. Apple is close to fruit, but it's also close to iPhone. When the AI is moving through this map to build an answer about, say, plumbing software, it's looking for things that are tightly clustered around that concept.
And if your content is vague...
your dot on that map is blurry. It's fuzzy. The AI can't confidently pin you down as plumbing software. You might look a bit like consulting or general tech.
I see.
And because the AI wants to reduce its own perplexity, it wants to be sure, it will skip right over the blurry dot and select the sharp one.
So the business that just says, we do X for Y, gets the recommendation, and the business that says, we solve problems, gets ignored. It's almost like the AI has a lower tolerance for BS than humans do.
It treats BS as a hallucination risk. That is the key.
Oh, that makes sense.
If the AI recommends you and you turn out to be totally irrelevant, that's a failure of the model. So to protect itself, it defaults to the clearest, most structured signal it can find.
Which leads us right into the mechanics section. The source lists 4 specific criteria that AI prioritizes over old-school keywords. First one is clarity of identity.
I touched on that. But they suggest this exercise I loved, the context-free audit.
It's brutal.
It is. You have to look at your digital presence, your homepage, your bio, and ask, if I strip away the logo, the branding, and just pretend I don't know what this business does the text alone explain it?
And for what, 90% of businesses? The answer is no.
Absolutely not. We rely on visual cues, or we expect the user to click around to figure it out. Oh, I'll just go to the services page.
But the AI won't click around.
It's ingesting the text. If the identity isn't explicit in the text, then for the model, that identity just doesn't exist.
The second pillar they mention is subject alignment, which sounds like stay in your lane.
It's topical authority, but with much stricter enforcement. The report warns against concept drift.
The concept drift.
Yeah. So if you're a cybersecurity firm, but you're also blogging about your office dog or, generic productivity tips just to get traffic.
You're diluting your vector. You're making your signal confused.
Because you're making your dot on the map blurry again. Exactly. The AI wants to see a high density of relevant information. It wants to know that when it pulls data from your site about cybersecurity, it's going to be accurate. If it sees a bunch of unrelated stuff mixed in, its confidence score just drops.
Okay. Then we get structural answers. This is the part that felt the most actionable to me.
Machine readability. That's the key term.
Right.
We spent years optimizing for human readability, short paragraphs, catchy headlines. Now we need to optimize for data extraction. The report uses a great example. A how-to query. If someone asks, how do I reset my router? The AI is looking for a data structure that mirrors a solution.
Lists, steps, bullet point.
A logical progression. Step 1, step 2, step 3. If your answer is buried in some dense, rambling paragraph,
Or a video transcript.
the AI has to burn processing power to pull out the logic. It's always going to prefer the site that has the data pre-structured. It's the path of least resistance.
So we're essentially writing the AI's answer for it.
That's the strategy.
Just serving it up on a platter.
You want your content to look exactly like the output the AI wants to generate. You're reducing the friction between your knowledge and the AI's response.
Okay, and the fourth pillar is consistency. This one's interesting because it suggests the AI is looking at the whole picture, not just one page.
This gets into how LLMs build a kind of worldview. They don't just index a page in isolation like Google. They're looking for patterns across your entire digital footprint to build a profile of you as an entity.
Good.
So if your website says you're a premium luxury brand, but all your third-party reviews and your LinkedIn posts are about cheap discounts, you have a consistency problem.
You're sending mixed signals.
And mixed signals equal low confidence. The AI doesn't know where to put you. Are you high-end? Are you budget? If it can't decide, it won't recommend you for either.
It just comes back to ambiguity is the enemy every single time. Now, I want to pivot to the misconceptions section because I know a lot of people listening might be thinking, okay, but I'm a big brand. My DR is 90. I have millions of backlinks. Surely I'm safe.
And the report calls that myth 1, strong SEO is safety. It's the too big to fail fallacy.
Right.
We see this with legacy brands all the time. They assume that because they dominated the search rankings for a decade, they're the default answer.
But the AI doesn't care about your legacy.
It cares about the quality of your data. The report points out that a smaller, newer competitor with absolute clarity and perfectly structured data, they can displace a giant, messy legacy brand in an AI answer.
Wow.
The AI isn't biased by who had the most links in 2015. It's biased by who answers the question best right now.
That is a huge opportunity for the underdog. It really levels the playing field.
It absolutely does. It rewards precision over volume.
Another myth they bust is AI is just a search engine. And I think we're all guilty of this one. We treat ChatGPT like it's just Google with a personality.
It's a category error. A search engine is an indexer. It points you to things. An AI is a synthesizer. It creates things.
Wow.
And the report makes this distinction very clear. If you optimize for an indexer, you focus on keywords and links. If you optimize for a synthesizer, you have to focus on meaning and structure.
Which brings us to myth 3. Keywords are king. I mean, are keywords dead?
Not dead, but their function has totally changed. The report argues we need to move from thinking about keywords to interpretive clarity. In the old days, you could kind of force a ranking by stuffing the phrase best running shoes into your text 5 times.
And bolding it, maybe?
Right. And the crawler would just match the string, BEST. But an LLM reads semantically. It understands that high-performance footwear for marathoners means the same thing.
It's looking for the relationship between concepts.
Not just a string match, exactly.
So if you're still obsessing over exact match keywords, you're playing a game that the referee isn't even watching anymore.
You're optimizing for a robot that is, frankly, becoming obsolete. The new robot is reading for comprehension.
Okay, so let's get practical. The report outlines this strategy they call beyond ranking. And I was relieved to see the first piece of advice is and, not or.
Yes. Please, please do not fire your SEO team after listening to this.
The marketing departments of the world can breathe a sigh of relief.
You still need to be found. You still need to be crawled. If a bot can't even access your site, nothing else matters. So that SEO foundation remains. But the report says you have to build on it. You layer this answer optimization on top.
And they give a clear prescription. Strengthen clarity, improve positioning, and focus on answer structure. We've talked about clarity and structure. Let's dig into improved positioning. The report mentions this idea of the canonical entity.
This goes right back to that vector map we were talking about. You want to be the canonical entity, the definitive source for your specific topic. The report suggests that actually narrowing your focus is better for AI visibility.
So being a specialist is better than being a generalist.
In the context of AI, yes, because it increases the density of your signal. If you are the absolute authority on, say, commercial HVAC repair in Chicago, the AI can model that very, very easily.
But if you're a general contractor for everything,
the model has a much harder time defining you.
So the strategy is pick your niche and just own it with structured, super clear data.
Become the node in the network that it lights up the brightest for that specific topic.
The report also brings up a timeline, implying this is sort of a land grab moment.
Yeah.
Why is now so critical? The internet's always changing.
Because these models are being trained and retrained right now. They're forming their foundational knowledge of the world. And the report makes a great point about the stickiness of training data.
Stickiness.
Yeah. On Google, rankings are fluid. You can buy ads, get some press, and jump up the rankings in a week.
Sure.
But in an LLM, once the model learns that brand A is the authority on cloud security, that association is literally baked into the weights of the neural network.
It's part of its brain.
It becomes part of the machine's reality. And changing that is much, much harder than just outranking someone on a search page. It takes a massive amount of new contradictory evidence.
So if you establish yourself as the clear, structured authority now, you're basically securing a spot in the digital brain for the next 5 years.
You're future-proofing your own existence. And conversely, if you ignore this.
That brings us to what the report calls the invisible web.
Hmm.
And it leaves us with this kind of haunting thought about the businesses that stay ambiguous.
It poses the question, if the user stops browsing lists and starts trusting the single summary, what happens to all the businesses that aren't selected?
They become digital ghosts.
They might still exist on a server somewhere. Their website still loads. But if no human ever sees the link because they aren't searching that way anymore.
And no AI selects them because they're ambiguous.
Are they really there?
It's the tree falls in the forest problem for the digital age.
It is. The cost of ambiguity used to be a lower click-through rate. Now the cost of ambiguity is non-existence.
That's a heavy realization. It feels like we're shifting from an era of, I don't know, attention economics, just shouting the loudest to get noticed,
to understanding economics.
I like that.
To be found is to be understood. That's the new mantra. If the machine cannot understand you, it cannot recommend you.
It's interesting because it forces a level of honesty on businesses, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can't hide behind flashy design or marketing fluff anymore.
No, the flash doesn't parse. The structure parses. The meaning parses. In a strange way, it's a return to fundamentals, just very, very technical fundamentals.
So for everyone listening, whether you're running a Fortune 500 company or you're just trying to get your personal blog read, the action item seems pretty clear. Go look at your content. Read it like a machine would.
Look for the ambiguity. Look for the fluff. And cut it out. Be the answer you want the AI to give.
be the answer. I like that. We're going to wrap it up there. This has been a fascinating look at what really feels like a completely new chapter for the internet.
It certainly is. The blue links had a good run, but it seems like the answer is taking over.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Hopefully we've given you enough interpretive clarity to navigate what's coming next. We'll see you next time.